Hey guys, today I'm going to be talking about the 23 books on my physical TBR for 2023. So as you guys saw from my last video, I started my reading journey around the summer of 2022, and now we are in 2023. So I made it a personal goal of mine to read more this year, and I have a bunch of books I'm really excited to get to this year on my physical TBR. So let's go through them. Sorry I'm not going in depth with a lot of the synopses of these books, just because we have so many to go through. I want to just show you them and then put them down, but hopefully I'll give you a little blurb of what each of them is about and their rating on Goodreads. So if you're interested, you could look into any of them a little bit more. I've broken these out by genre, and starting with my most popular genre, thriller. We have quite a few books here that are all thrillers. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So let's go through them. The first thriller that I have here is The Kind Worth Killing by Peter Swanson. I've heard really good things about this book, and this was actually one that I hauled in my last video. I still haven't gone around to reading it, so definitely on the to read for this year. The next book I have here is a classic, and that is Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn. I'm so excited to read my first Gillian Flynn. Somehow this book has not been spoiled for me, and I am so thankful it hasn't. What I'm really looking forward to doing is reading this and then watching the movie with my boyfriend and seeing which one I prefer, the book or the movie. The next one is one I really want to get to soon because I've only heard amazing things about it. Everyone's rating it 5 stars, and that is Confessions by Kane Minato. It's actually quite small. I didn't expect it to be this short of a read. I swear I've only seen people rate this 4 stars and above, but most people rate it 5 stars. The next book I have here is one that was recommended by Gabby Reads. It was in a bunch of her videos, a bunch of her favorites for the year.
Right, coming in at number 2, I feel like if you've been following my channel at all this year, then these top 2 are probably not going to be very surprising, but coming in at number 2 is going to be Notes on an Execution.
And I can't wait to get to it, and that's Notes on an Execution by Dania Kukafka. This is about a man who's on death row, and we are reading from the perspectives of different women in his life, and I think it touches on a lot of interesting topics in our society, particularly death row, and just the perspectives as told from seems to be very interesting, and I am really looking forward to reading this one. The next one also receives really high praise from booktubers, and that is Lane Fargo's They Never Learn. And what it says here is, every year Dr. Clark searches for the worst man at Gorman University and plots his demise. I think I'm just going to leave it at that one sentence. So this sounds very, very interesting, and from all the people I've heard review this book, all have great things to say about it, so I'm very excited to get into this year. Now, I've heard mixed reviews on this next book, and it is very mixed. Either people love it or really don't like it, and that is Alice Feeney's Rock, Paper, Scissors. It sounds like something that I would be interested in. The atmosphere being in a winter setting sounds very good to me, especially considering this time of year, and I don't know, I'm a bit worried to read this one because I've heard people think the ending is very predictable or it doesn't hit for them, but other people seem to love it. So I don't know what to expect, but I'm excited to give it a try. This next book I also showed you guys in my haul video, I believe, and it is Ruth Ware's Turn of the Key, and this cover is very shiny and I like it. I switched gears from reading thrillers to different genres because I want to expand my reading taste and see what other genres I could enjoy. So that is why I haven't gone to this yet, but I'm still very excited to read it. And the last thriller on my physical TBR this year is Riley Sager's Lock Every Door. I don't know which edition this is, but it's not the typical pink and black edition. This might be from the UK, I'm not exactly sure, but it is quite big. I didn't expect it to be this large. And this will be my first time reading any Riley Sager book, so this will be my introduction to his books, which I'm very excited about. Survive the Night has mixed reviews, so I don't know about that one, but I'll check out his other books if I do enjoy this one. Something I really like about picking up reading this year, I picked it up last year, but really getting into it this year, is that there are so many great books out there. And even books that were published decades ago still exist and can still be picked up. So I feel like now is a great time to pick up reading, just like any other time. So I'm very, very happy that, especially for my thrillers, I'm trying a bunch of really famous authors. I'm trying their novels for the first time. So I'll get to see if I have a new favorite author by the end of the year. Next up, we have my mystery novels. I'm so excited to get into mysteries and different subsets of mystery novels. I want to read some Agatha Christie, although I do not own any Agatha Christie just yet. I just really want to test out the genre and see if it's something that resonates with me. So yes, this is actually my second most popular genre that I own physically, and that's thanks to some box sets that I own. But let's start with the first one, which is not a box set, but is part of a series, and that is The Thursday Murder Club by Richard Osman. I've heard such good things about this book, and I've heard that it's a great place to start if you want to pick up mystery books for the first time. So if I really do enjoy this book, I'm excited to read the 2 other books in the series, and I think a 4th is confirmed to be coming, so I am very excited about that. Can I also just say I love how floppy this paperback is? It's so nice. It's going to be such a nice reading experience. The last 6 mystery books that I have here are actually a part of 2 box sets. So the first one is The Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. So this is a young adult mystery series that has so many high ratings, and I'm very excited to get into. It's pretty much about a rich man who has given his inheritance to this random woman, but the one catch is that she has to live in his house with all of his family members, and I think they have to play a game. So that seems very intriguing to me, and I can't wait to get into these. So this box set is actually a hardcover set, and the covers are so nice. They have this matte feel, which I love. So this is the first one. The next one is The Hawthorne Legacy. I love the color of this one. It's like a purple blue. It's mostly purple. And then the last one in the series is The Final Gambit. Very excited to read this trilogy and see what all the hype is about. This was also really nice because the original price of this was $72, and there was the hardcover sale happening at Indigo. I wasn't sure if this one was actually gonna be on sale, but it was. So I only paid $43 for this box set, which is just crazy. So took advantage of that deal. Speaking of taking advantage of deals, I went back to Indigo because I realized I had 20 books on my physical TBR and I wanted to make it 23 for 2023. So I went back to Indigo and I picked up this box set. This is another young adult mystery series, also a trilogy, and that is A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. And this is by Holly Jackson, who I haven't read anything else from yet, so I'm excited to give her novels a try. I've heard people love the first one and love the last one, and the second one is not people's favorite. That might just be the people that I listen to. There might be people who love the second one, but we'll see. Let's look at these hardcovers, shall we? So yes, the first one is A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, of course. The second one is Good Girl, Bad Blood, and the final one, As Good as Dead, which I love this cover. It's so nice. The next genre I have is short stories, beginning with Tales from the Cafe by Toshikazu Kawaguchi. I have read the first novel. Where is it? I just had it. I read the first novel this summer and fell in love with the setting. The cafe is so magical. So I'm very much looking forward to reading the second book. And there's also a third that I will pick up later. And the other 2 short stories I've already covered in my last haul. And those 2 are Out There by Kate Folk and How High We Go in the Dark by Sequoia Nagamatsu. So these two books I already covered in my last video, so I won't go into much detail about them, but they have Black Mirror vibes, especially in this one apparently, and this one deals with a pandemic and how it affects society. So the next genre is horror, and I have two books here that are horror. I've never tested out the genre, so hopefully I like them. The first one is Daphne by Josh Malerman. This one I feel like I will enjoy because instead of being super scary, although it does have its scary moments apparently, it talks more about the subject of anxiety, and I'm sure many of us have dealt with anxiety at least once in our lives, me included. So I feel like this will be a great introduction to horror. And the other horror novel that I have here is We Spread by Ian Reid. I feel like this will also be a very good horror novel to begin with because although it is marketed as a horror novel, it seems like it is so much more than just that. We're following this older woman who is being taken away to a home that apparently she has agreed to go to, but she doesn't know if she could trust the people that are telling her this or if she could trust her mind. So it'll be a very touching story for me to read, I am sure. Ian Reid is also receiving really high praise for his other novels, so I'm looking forward to my introduction to his books. The last three books come from three different genres, and I only own one of each, so let's go through them. The first one is manga. I'm sure it'll be no surprise that I have picked up Spy Family as my introduction to manga by Tatsuya Endo. Now, I've watched the anime, the first season. I'm gonna watch the second season soon because I just got a membership to Crunchyroll, but I also wanted to follow the manga so I could get ahead in the story before the animes come out. I'm pretty sure they're on volume 6, 7, or 8, around there, I believe. So I want to get a start on the series and catch up. I don't know about the manga yet because I've only read very little of it so far, but the anime is so precious and I really recommend you watch it. The next book is a fantasy middle grade, and that is Amari and the Night Brothers by B.B. Alston. I have been wanting to read this for such a long time, and I know it's a middle grade, but I've heard so many adults read it and love it still. The second book just recently came out, so if I enjoy the first one, I will definitely be picking up the second one. Another fantasy that I really want to add to my list, but I don't own yet, is Legendborn. I don't believe that's a middle grade. I think it's more of a young adult series, but Bloodmarked also just recently came out. I really want to try some fantasy, so why not start off with middle grade, work my way up to young adult, and then maybe pick up some adult fantasy? We'll have to wait and see. And the last genre and book that I have here is a memoir, and that is I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jeanette McCurdy. This book was everywhere. I could read it physically while listening to the audiobook. I feel like that would be very impactful. I'm really looking forward to hearing her story, and from the interviews I've seen, it was very liberating for her to, release this story, but very difficult to write. I've also heard that the book has a lot of humor undertones, which will make the read a little bit easier, but nonetheless, the topics discussed in here are very, very difficult, so look up trigger warnings for sure. And I've heard that she also wants to write fiction, so if she does release fiction this year, I would love to pick it up as well. So those are all the books on my physical TBR for 2023. If you've read any of these and rate them really high, please let me know in the comments down below. And based on the books that I picked up, are there any book recommendations you have? I would love to hear them, and hopefully I see you all soon. Bye guys!